Siema!
Welcome back to Beyond Borders. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are touching a bit on Poland and also I wouldn't call it our home country, but it's the country where we are currently residing and what we currently call home, where we currently call home. So we live in Berlin in Germany, if you guys didn't know. But we visit Poland a hell of a lot because it's bordering Germany and it's also really easy to travel to, and we focus a lot of our travel on this channel dedicated to Poland. But living in Germany, obviously we see a lot of the political aspects and shifts, and we thought, why not touch on this video? Because I was under the impression that Germany and Poland were kind of friends after World War II. Obviously there's a lot that has happened since the war, and I think a lot of Poles still feel very betrayed by. Yeah, we're not going to go into the historical stuff. We've done so many historical videos on this channel, so if you haven't watched them, go and have a look at them. But in today's times, I thought there was a bit more stability, but it seems like there's not.
And also just a disclaimer, guys, everything that we say, everything that we talk about, it is purely our opinion. We're just discussing the things that we think and feel and see. So please keep that in mind. We're very open to discussion. So always please drop your thoughts in the comment section below.
Yeah, and if you enjoy these videos, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so that you stay up to date with all of our latest videos. There's always exciting stuff that we do between traveling to Poland and other countries, but also doing these reaction videos to learn a bit more and a bit in depth into.
Yes, and just purely like discussing, having a conversation about it.
Debating.
Yes.
So, you ready?
When Donald Tusk was elected Polish Prime Minister last year, many people thought his return would mark the beginning of a new and better relationship with Germany. Because while Germany and much of the rest of Europe hadn't got on that well with Tusk's predecessors, the National Conservative Law and Justice Party, both Tusk and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz are pro-European centrists with relatively similar politics who have known each other for over a decade. But despite some optimistic signs last year, several more recent events have seemingly caused tensions to flare up once again. So in this video, we'll take a look at the rocky German-Polish relationship, why tensions are rising, and what might happen next.
That's not good to hear.
But I think that's not. I think also Western media focuses a lot on it to try and drive like divide. I mean, we've seen it in many, aspects of the different views that they have on Poland. Like a lot of people also thought that the steps that Poland have taken to, for example, secure their border were very, racist, or bad. But it's not. Western media sometimes portrays things, and also at the same time, there's a lot more going on. Just because Germany reduces, investment or aid, should I say, to Ukraine doesn't mean that they are against Poland. There's a lot of, I think, politically stuff that is going on. Doesn't always make sense, but I mean, these videos, I think, try and give a good understanding of it, but I don't know. I think unless you actually live in the country and you actually follow these things daily, it's hard to let a video or one video be a judgment of what something is, because it can be very much often swinged, and I feel swung. Yeah, a lot of people sometimes think that we watch a video and then we influence and say, oh, that's Poland. No, we watch these videos to get different perspectives.
And also a lot of people think that we're paid by some Western media to do these videos.
Which we're not.
Heck knows why you would think that. And I think also we did a video that will be pinned here. I think a lot of people only read the thumbnail and didn't watch the video. So before you guys comment, please watch the video, because the thumbnail is not what we said. It was the title of the video that we watched. So please keep that in mind.
And if you're watching this far into the video already, you probably are not one of those people, because those people watch probably the first 10 seconds of our video and think, who are these guys? They are just trying to, put propaganda into the system, which is not. I think we give a very good, equally,
Just an opinion from an outsider's perspective. Someone that's not from Germany, not even from Europe, not American, not Western, nothing. We're from the southernmost tip of Africa, and we're just in love with Poland. As we've mentioned in one of our previous videos, it is a country that is, it offers a kind of a safety that we've never been able to experience. And there's multiple things about Poland that is so homely to us. The food, the very big culture with the grandmothers that love to cook for people, and your openness to guests, the fact that they keep a chair open during holidays and all of that stuff, the safety, the beauty of the country. There's a lot that we love about it. That is why we want to understand these things. That is why we learned about the history, trying to learn the language, trying to understand their, political relationships with different countries like the one we're living in. So as long as everyone keeps that in mind, keep it a nice place in the comment section.
it sounds like you're a paid influencer with all of that, fantastic stuff about Poland.
Well, that's true. But no one's paying me from Poland, though.
We're doing it independently.
Before we start, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and ringing the bell to stay in the loop and be notified when we release new videos. But first, let's start with some context. At Poland's election back in December, Donald Tusk's centrist Civic Coalition came to power, ending 8 years of rule by the right-wing Law and Justice Party. Under the nationalist PIS, anti-German sentiment rose steeply in Poland, and in 2021, the PIS's leader even warned that the EU was in danger of becoming a Fourth Reich under German dominance. The PIS also campaigned heavily for reparations for the Nazi occupation of Poland during World War II, which led to the death of nearly 6 million Poles, more than a fifth of its population. So in 2022, Poland's former prime minister demanded 1.3 trillion euros, about a third of Germany's total GDP, in reparations from the German government, which was swiftly struck down by Berlin.
It's pretty wild, yes, I understand that there's obviously money that is due or rightfully owed to Poland for the damage that they suffered, but I don't think any country is going to give up 1/3, 33% of its GDP to another country.
But, that's just going to cause economic collapse, is it not?
Yes, it is. But at the same time, a country is also selfish for itself. There's a lot of, they're not just going to do that. And I feel like, I don't know how you work through tension like that, because a country can't afford to do stuff like that. And at the same time, asking for that can also raise political instability and cause tension between countries. You almost, as bad as it sounds, you've almost got to accept that you're not going to get the money and move on to better.
I don't think Poles will, I don't think that with the history that the Polish endured, that is something that they feel is fair. Just don't get your money. Also, is it not something that was promised to them?
I'm not sure if it was promised or not. Maybe our viewers can help us with that. But I'm not saying it's not fair. I'm saying they probably 100% do deserve it. But you got to be realistic. You got to be realistic.
Yes.
And it's stupid to cause conflict if something is unrealistic. That's what I'm trying to say. You got to kind of be real. And as bad as it is to not be reimbursed or get that money back, it's at the same time, I think it's more worse to cause political divide, especially in Europe at the moment, given the times that.
Yeah, I think obviously everyone should stand together now, but I also don't think we understand the depth that it is probably at.
Yep.
And we're just seeing the surface level. Oh no, they said give us 1.3 trillion. They're like, no, we can't. That's what we see, but that's not what it is about.
We only scratch the surfaces. in these videos.
Yes.
There's a lot more deeper stuff to the story, and that's what kind of why we also do these videos, because it gives viewers the chance to comment and also give those insights that are maybe missing from this video.
Yes, we're not politicians, we're not economists, we're not anything. We're just YouTubers, and
Are we YouTubers?
I don't know anymore.
We just travel to Poland to make a couple of videos and do this as insight.
We're YouTubers.
We're YouTubers.
On the other side, most of Germany saw the PIS as disagreeably populist and Eurosceptic, and relations between Berlin and Warsaw became extremely tense, arguably the worst they'd been since 1990, when Germany's post-reunification Chancellor Helmut Kohl caused outrage by saying that he'd refuse to recognize the current border between Eastern Germany and Poland unless Poland promised not to seek reparations. Anyway, when Tusk narrowly defeated the PIS in December, Germany's centre-left coalition government probably breathed a small sigh of relief. With Scholz in Berlin, Central Europe was now led by two centrist dad figures who could seemingly get on with rebuilding trust, leading support for Ukraine, and strengthening cooperation on issues like security, defence, and culture. And originally, it looked like things were going to plan. The revival of the so-called Weimar Triangle was perhaps the most visible expression of this new Polish-German affinity. And many Europeans, as well as Ukrainians, hoped that better cooperation between Germany, Poland, and France would improve Europe's military capacity. In fact, in June, Germany's parliament also voted to establish a German-Polish house in Berlin to create a memorial site for the Polish victims of the Nazi occupation. And in July, Scholz said that Germany was prepared to compensate living Polish victims of the Nazi occupation, which Tusk described as a good gesture. The two countries then published a German-Polish action plan, which set out a number of other cultural ways to improve
Just on that though, I mean, yeah, I think it's good to, reimburse living Poles that suffered during that period. But also, if you think about it, that stuff carries on through generations. So just because those Poles may not be alive, they probably have kids or kids of kids that kind of have suffered from a negative impact that their grandparents had when, they went through this time. So
I guess that's where the 1.3 trillion comes.
And that's why we were asking for 1.3 trillion. But if you can't just support the living ones, like you need to support those generational lines, because the reality is like everyone suffered, and a lot of Poles are in poverty still today. Not poverty, but they're not well off because they're still recovering. Generations, and it's going to take time. I mean, the economy is doing better on paper, but the reality is people still are not where they should be.
Where they would have been if it wasn't for the war,
Yeah.
German-Polish relations, such as through civil society partnerships, the promotion of a joint history textbook, and the reinstatement of the annual Polish-German Award. However, in the past couple of months, relations do seem to have taken a downturn. And as we see it, there are two main issues: Nord Stream and Ukraine. The first is Poland's apparent refusal to execute a German arrest warrant over the destruction of the Nord Stream gas pipelines. For context, back in September 2022, a series of underwater explosions damaged the multi-billion-dollar Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines in the Baltic Sea, which had carried natural gas from Russia to Germany. Earlier in the month, it was reported that an arrest warrant had been made by German prosecutors for a Ukrainian citizen, a diving instructor who'd been a resident in a Polish town near Warsaw. Germany believes that a group of Ukrainians used a small sailing yacht which stopped at a Polish port to destroy the pipelines, and a former head of Germany's intelligence agency also claims that the sabotage may have been carried out with the agreement of the Polish president and the Ukrainian president, allegations that Zelensky has denied. According to the Wall Street Journal, Polish prosecutors at first refused the warrant by claiming that they'd found an error in the German request, and then reportedly sent a letter to Germany saying that the man, named only as Vladimir Z, had already left Poland. Now, none of this went down well with Germany, but things got a lot worse when Tusk issued a tweet essentially telling Germany to, quote, apologize and keep quiet. Another adjacent issue causing a rift between Poland and Germany is the war in Ukraine itself. Last week, German Finance Minister Christian Lindner warned the rest of the government that he would veto any payment requests for Kyiv, effectively blocking military aid. And support for Ukraine does seem to be waning, particularly...
It's crazy to think how a war that Germany or Poland aren't involved in directly is causing so much tension. Like people, I think that's the thing about this war, is not only are a lot of people dying, I mean, you see that, and you see the war on the battlefields and battlegrounds between, Ukraine and Russia, but people don't see, these aspects of stuff that's caused, like, for example, the Nord Stream pipeline being cut because gas prices increased because of that in Europe, because of that cut, and causing political tension. And there's a lot more other things that it's causing just than the war itself.
Yeah, it's got ripple effects.
Stuff rippling through.
Mm-hmm.
In Germany's eastern states, where the relatively pro-Russia BSW and AfD parties are currently rising in the polls. Now, we should mention that Germany has already committed 4 billion euros to Ukraine in military aid over the next year, more than any other EU country. But Poland still feels that Germany should be doing more, with Tusk calling on Germany last month to increase its security presence on the EU's eastern border, saying that it is also in the interest of the German state. Moreover, there's also been disagreement between Poland and Germany over the financing of the joint defence initiatives. While Poland and other Baltic states have proposed joint initiatives like the defence line along the EU's eastern border or an EU air defence system similar to Israel's Iron Dome, Germany opposes using joint borrowing at an EU level, i.e. borrowing done via the EU rather than national governments in order to fund these projects. So where does the relationship actually go from here? Well, to be honest, things don't look good. Tensions over Nord Stream are unlikely to die down anytime soon, not least because, as we mentioned earlier, the rise of Ukraine-skeptic parties like the AfD and BSW mean that the issue won't go away in Germany. Similarly, even though it's true that Germany has provided more support for Ukraine than basically any other European country, its continued economic woes and restrictive borrowing practices mean that the investment in either Ukraine or European defence that the many Eastern European countries would like to see is unlikely to materialise. Ultimately, while German-Polish relations may have had a fresh start when Tusk first came into office, several cracks in the Scholz-Tusk friendship are now clearly starting to show.
I think that it's wild just by how much money is spent globally on this war. Like, with all the money being spent on the war, you could be literally, and beefing up military and all that, you could literally be doing so much more for the people of the country.
People who want nothing to do with the war, like...
I can guarantee you, like, 99.999999999% of people do not want war. Like, why is everyone fearing World War III at the moment? Like, no one wants it.
I wish that the people actually had, like, the bigger say and not the political leaders. It's, to me, I know that it's the people that vote them in, which is, a big thing, but we don't want war. Nobody wants war.
I just feel like people don't have a say, if you could cast a vote out to the population and ask them would they want to go to war, you're going to have a overwhelmingly majority of people say no. Like, war is not good for any country. You lose people, you lose resources. It's a waste of money.
It's a waste of life.
Yeah, you're bombing money away and then having to spend money to build it and then spending money on health because people are dying. It's just like, it's such a mess. And ideally, it's easy for us to sit here and say, oh, just stop the war, but there's so much going on. But yeah, I don't know. I just wish that it didn't have to be in a position that it is right now. Especially now, like, I feel like tensions have never been so high like it is now.
And the biggest problem is that this type of war could literally be world-ending type of war, because we have weapons that we've never used before. Well, it's been used, but everyone's got access to nuclear warheads now, and it's been thrown around and threats are being made. And it's so sad because I have so much to live for still, and I don't want to die.
It's not just you. I mean, there's
I know.
there's billions of people that don't want it. You know.
Of course, I cannot speak for billions. I'm saying how I feel,
Yeah.
and it's just, it's really scary.
We're living in an age where one nuclear weapon can set off a chain reaction and the whole population can just die. It's messed up. I don't know. I hope things change in the coming months and weeks. And I don't know. That's why I think politics, even though many people don't like it, it's such an important thing, because you really, at the end of the day, have got to. I mean, yes, you can be pro-left or you can be pro-right, you can be neutral, but you got to choose, I feel, a political party, whoever it may be, that doesn't want war, you know, like that doesn't want this. I mean, no one wants war, but other countries, I feel, are more prone to, you know, make it worse, you know, like they almost like, you know, they churn it up, you know, they add fuel to the fire and make it worse. And there's definitely politicians, more right-wing, that try and put into it. There's no point. But this is not going to be a political channel. It's just interesting to know what's all going on. And yeah, like we said, we really do hope that it does clear up in the coming weeks and months.
That peace is made, and we wish the most safety to everyone who's watching. We're living in scary times, but we cannot lose hope and we cannot lose faith. And we just have to, you know, pray that things will work out and that we will all be fine. So we're sending love and we're sending
positive energy
to all of you guys watching.
If you enjoyed this video though, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, so that you stay up to date with all of our latest videos. Until next time, this is Beyond Borders.
Over and out.
Do widzenia.